Hey everybody, this is Mike Venus and I'm back. And I'm here to give a few tips pertaining to using the Akai Force or even the MPC. Right? Number one, gotta take care of some business. Music you hearing is from the Mike Venus Jazz Keys Volume 43 loop pack. Right? In this loop pack, it comes with 40 loops, both a combination of electric and acoustic keys, jazz progressions played by me. Right? Volumes 1 through 43 is in stores now, and volume 44 will be out tomorrow. Get it at cosmoreference.org and vloops to support your man, Mike Venus. I'm very appreciative of anybody who is subscribed, follow on any social platform, and who are a purchaser of my loot packs. Thank you. God bless you. Be blessed. Now, let's get into the point. When it comes to the MPC or the Akai Force, you got to know that this is not a DAW. I know a lot of people like to say, well, this is a DAW and it's a built-in. No. This is a hardware sampler. Both devices, the MPC Live 2, which I have on this side of the desk, and my Akai Force right here in front of me, which, is helping the camera, the phone prop up so I can do this video, right? These are hardware samplers, right? Now, understanding that, number one, it's a sampler slash sequencer slash synthesizer, right? But let's deal with the main part. It's a sampler. So, this thing does two things well, very well. Sample, meaning taking incoming audio and bringing it into the machine. Or what I like to do is resample, right? Now, with this machine, I've been experimenting the past few days with it, and I found the best way to keep the CPU down, right, is to use either samples, right, or sample-based instruments. Now, what do I mean by that? Using samples. Either using a drum track or a key group, right? Now, you can create key groups several different ways on the Force. You could resample from a plugin, right? Say you go in, you pick a preset, you like that preset, you can go into the sampler, go to auto sample, and it will say sample from whatever plugin you got your sound on. Set the range, how you want it to loop or whatever, and it take less than a minute to process. You know what I'm saying? Now you have that sound as a sample, right? Spread over whatever range you have, and now you can play on it. I find that to be very effective. The second method is, say you pull up one of the internal drum kits or one of the drum kits that you got from one of the expansion packs that you purchased from Akai or you made or whatever. You push shift, hold down shift, and select. Is it select or edit? Hold on. Let me test this out real quick. Right. So you hear that sound? Right? So if I hold down shift and edit, and I pick whatever pad it is, now it's a key group, right? Now, if you're one of those people that say, well, all my drums, all my stuff got to be in the same key or within the same frequency, this is the best thing to do, right? You can turn any sample into a key group. And you can play it chromatically. right? And you're not going to tax the CPU. It's excellent. So, you know, say you got a drum kit, then you got your kick, your snare, a hi-hat, and even though on the Force you do not have explode tracks, which please add that in the next update, you can, my second or my first suggestion will be do that. Pick the drum track, wherever that thing is, like this kick, hold down shift, edit, then push the sample you want. Now it's a key group, right? Just giving you some examples, right? And I find that that's a great way, right? A great way to utilize this machine, right? And then the second best way of utilizing this machine is using it as a sequencer. Both the MPC and the Akai Force are extremely powerful sequencers, right? Now, one way I like to use it is I will pull up a MIDI track, don't matter which one I'm using. And on these MIDI tracks, excuse me, on this MIDI track, or whatever MIDI track I make, I can compose the notes that I want to play or patterns I want to play, and then have that MIDI get sent to that particular key group or plugin that I have pull up to test out how it would sound before committing, right? That's another way. Or if you got external gear, like let's say a modular synth, right, that has the CV inputs, outputs, or you got a synthesizer or something, or another drum machine, and you want to use this as your main sequencer, you could do this using your MIDI tracks and your CV tracks. It's amazing, right? Now you might say, well, what about the audio tracks? You get 8, and I believe in the Force, this is more than enough because each clip can hold all types of audio from whatever length per clip. It's not set to one, dedicated thing unless you want it like that. Now in the MPC, it's 8 audio tracks per sequence. You understand? That's how you can get more out of that, right? But this is a sampler, bro. And just try it. Sample your sounds. Like I like to do, I like to sample my stuff from the internal plugins that they have on here. And then once I got the sounds that I want, either making them key groups or sampling them and then chopping them up and put them in a drum program, I just delete that plugin and it frees up the CPU so that now if I'm going to tax this thing, I'm going to tax it with my effects. You understand? Not from the sample or the plugin. You know what I'm saying? Not from my plugins and all that. The CPU is going to get hit based off of how many plugins I'm using. Now, another thing you can do, you can flatten the pad. So, to recap, understand, first and foremost, that the MPC and the Akai Force is not a DAW. Number 2, the best way you're going to utilize this machine and get the most out of it is sampling either in to the machine and using that, or the resampling process is auto sampling from the plugin when you're creating your key groups, or sampling, your sounds and then chopping it up and putting it in a drum rack, right? It's the best way to go. Because if you try any other way, you're just gonna tax this thing and then you're gonna get frustrated. So that's just my tip. Learn how to do the key groups, learn how to sample in this thing, and learn how to resample. The best way to resample in this machine is either making a key group from auto sampling or flattening the pad in the drum rack. You know, put your processing on it and flatten it. Or, I should probably show this in the next video, showing you how to bounce your MIDI to a sample so that you can chop it up and then flip it on the force. So remember, this is a sampler. Secondly, it is a powerful sequencer. And thirdly, it is a synthesizer. So with that, this is Mike Venus, and I'm out. Be blessed.